Welcome to the tutorial video on how to edit your TIM episode that you have recorded. So the first thing you want to do is to go into the 2026 TIM templates, which you should already have access to and have done many times. Then you want to select 2026 TIM template if you had one guest. If you had two guests, you want to do that template. So you want to select the 1920 by 1080 TIM guest, and you also want to select the 1080 by 1350 TIM guest, and that's going to give you the Photoshop and the Premiere files that you need to start. So I'm opening those up. I just hit enter and you can see my thing is thinking about bringing it up. So here we are. So find your TIM template. Here is opened, and this is really important. You want to save as the file that you are going to do. So you should have moved your file from the desktop hard drive, your raw footage, into a folder that you can find it. I always put mine in the folder called raw tape, and double click on raw tape. As you can see, there are tons of them listed here. So there's Gabriel Curtis, who was 115. So let's go ahead and do Josh here. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to pull it down into my Photoshop file, and I'm going to drop it right here. So as you can see, the Adobe Premiere is now downloading that file, and it's going to end up being in see that the download is complete and the file is there. You want to select the file that you just dropped in, and you want to slide it all the way over. So you'll see that it has a green screen, and I'm going to go through how to do this. But the first thing is we want to save as, because we don't want to mess up our template. So we're going to save as, and going to go into the Tim. So basically you'll go into the Innovation Podcast folder, which you have access to. You're going to go to Tim edited and ready for upload. Then you're going to go to Tim Premiere files, and then you want to save it. As you can see, the last one we did was 115 Gabriel Curtis. So we want to do 116 space dash space, and this is Josh. So the proper way to title this is 116, because that's the next one in order, space dash name of the person you is your guest. In this case, it's Josh Orlinsky, space dash, and then their company name. This is Quint Quick Turn Holdings, I think. So I am going to save that. Great. Now we got this to a place where we can start editing it. So I'm going to go back here, and this is already in the template. So I let it run until I start hearing the music. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this. I want to back it up just a tad, and then I want to shorten this video to here where the music is started, then reselect and bring it all the way back. Now test it. Okay, so as you can see, the intro now is clean. The music is started. You have the template already going, and the first shiny thing, this is going to be the first thing you need to change. So if it's not showing up here under the text already, you can go to window, and then you can go down to text, and it will bring up the, so you're going to leave the innovation mindset there. Then you're going to put your name in, and you're going to write student host there. I'm not going to change any of that because this is actually me. So next we want to do is slide over, and there we have Josh coming in. So right there, I'm going to see this little marker here. I'm going to make a marker there because my previous guest came in a little bit earlier. So now I'm going to pull this shiny lower third, and I'm actually going to go ahead and change the main text, their name. So this is Josh. Be better if I spelt it right. Josh Orlinsky, and the upper text is his company, which is called Turn Holdings. And then in this case, he's not a co-founder. He is the founder. So we're going to get rid of that co and just have CEO and founder. Now you can see that on the screen, and we're good to go. So what we want to do next is go back to me, and we want to go and bring up effects. So two ways to do this. You can hit, if it shows up down here, effects, you can just click it, or always you can find a menu option that you can't see by going to window and then finding what you need. So in this case, we want effects, which is right here. You can do shift +7, which will bring it up. I usually just go to windows and do that, but it's completely up to you. There's several ways to get there. And then you're going to go to video effects, or at this point, you should know about the Ultra key. So you can just type Ultra in the search bar, and then that will show up there. You are going to click and hold and then drag it over into your video. Now you want to go to effects control, which I don't see really quickly, so I don't want to waste a lot of time. So I'm just going to go to effects control, and now it comes up. This is where the magic starts to happen. You go to the Ultra key, and you're going to see this little picker tool. And picker, I have found it's best always to do it by the host right between the headphones and your shoulder, and then just click it, and voila. But you are not done yet, because you can see how his background looks kind of fuzzy and yucky. So you want to go to matte cleanup, and then you want to go to contrast, and you want to go all the way to 100%. You see how that cleaned it up. Sometimes we don't get our lighting perfect, so sometimes you may want to go to midpoint here and just kind of play around with it to see if it cleans things up. So that, but this is a little bit more dangerous. It can actually affect a lot of other things and how it looks. But now it's there and it looks good. You can see that, like in the transition, the backgrounds look the same, and his lower third is happening. So far, so good. And it looks good. Next thing I do is I pull the taskbar all the way out, and depending on how long, so this was a little bit shorter of a podcast, so we need to do a couple of things. We need to shorten the end. That's just the background. And whoops. So that's just the background. And then you need, wherever you click up on the number line, and then you go down to this lower bar and you go in, it'll get it. So I want to select this and actually bring it back. Sometimes it doesn't pull across, which is kind of annoying. And, oh, of course, during a tutorial, my computer decides it doesn't want to do the right thing. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of quickly, just because I know right here the music's going and everything, I'm just going to drop it right here as a placeholder. And then we're going to click up here so we can zoom in on this section. So I'm going to zoom in, and we see a couple of things that are wrong. So I'm going to hit play. You can use the space bar, or you can hit this play button, and we're going to see where we are. Okay, so you heard the music going out. So this is the tricky thing. Now, you want to select, these are together right now. So we want to right click, and then we want to unlink the videos. Okay, great. Now you want to shorten the video to that line. You want to shorten this to that line. and we're going to keep this one a little bit longer. We're going to make sure, and we want to find out where I actually say, please subscribe. So let me open it up a little bit more here. So I usually say, hey, if you like this episode and everything, so I put the selection right there. So as you can see, that little template of the subscribe comes up. So pausing that. We also need to fade out of this. So we want to hit X, and probably easiest way is just to go to video transition, go to dissolve, and then additive dissolve, and pull it all the way over here. And as you can see now, we'll have a nice fade. Actually, I want to zoom in a little bit more because I want to fade out right when I say we're going to see you next time. So we're going to shorten this to here, and we're going to take this and shorten it to there. And now it should look pretty good. And you can hear the outro music. Okay, so now let's pull this bar so everything is, so we can see everything once again. This is really important. You want to save it. So we are, this, unfortunately, I got the spinny circle of death. You're working with huge files, and sometimes computers just have a really hard time keeping up with it. So I'm going back to file, and again, it's not responding. So there's a couple of different ways you can do. You can do Control S, and that should save it. Or you can go up to File. My computer's thinking, but if you can go File and you pull down File, and then you can just go down to Save and save. So now you're done editing the first step, and we're going to go and we're actually going to export this as a MP4 so we can put it into Descript, and that's when we can start doing some additional editing in Descript. So as you can see, my computer is having tons of problems today, which is no fun. So export is really easy. We're going to go to export here. It is always in your editing screen. And again, unfortunately, my computer is lagging. So the export screen is coming up. So first thing that you want to do is change this folder because this is not the one. So you do want to go into the Tim folder. So in Innovation Podcast, Tim edited and ready for upload, and then Tim videos. So you'll see all of these videos. And we want to name this 116 dash space dash Josh Olinsky. Burn. And real quick, I forgot the name of his company, Equiturn. Equiturn Things Inc. Okay, great. So we're going to go back to Premiere Pro. Equiturn Holdings is good enough. Then you are going to hit save, and it's going into the Tim video. You want it to say H.264. That's the MP4 format. And then you're going to go over here and hit export. And then is going to export, and it's going to take 18 minutes. So I'm going to conclude this video, and then the next video we pick up, we are going to be uploading this edited video into Descript. So I'll see you in a minute.